Howdy folks, Doc here with Last Best Tool. And a little while ago I did a quick tabletop introduction to this Mayhew Dominator Prybar. And it's in the form factor of a screwdriver, a large slotted screwdriver. And this guy here is about 12 inches overall, or a blade length of about 7 inches. And it's a really substantial tool. I mean, the great handle is directional here a little bit, but that really doesn't matter. And it uses a traditional screwdriver shaped head. I have had some other straight pry bars, including a really long snap-on. I think I had a 36-inch snap-on with a straight head, and I just couldn't find a use for it. So, you know, somebody offered me more than I could say no to. But I ended up getting, or kind of wanting a good solid straight, smaller one in a large screwdriver form. And I used some of the Milwaukee's here. These basically hang around for various uses, but not a lot of decon. But I do like just having a good solid striking implement with some kind of significant applications. Anyway, this one was 15 bucks, and I noticed right after I got it the price jumped to 25, and I thought 15 for a USA made tool, you know, even if it's a pry bar, a blunt instrument. Great handle, I mean, just seemed wonderful. But right after I got it and the price jumped, I noticed the price dropped on this one. And this one here is the 17-inch one, or with a 12-inch long shaft. And I grabbed it, and then the price, of course, jumped back up. So Amazon's kind of like a garage sale in some ways. But what it did allow me to do, and why I'm doing this video, is to actually compare the heads of these things and show you a few other features or characteristics. One is, this is my original one, and I thought, oh, fine and dandy, it's a blunt force tool. But when I looked at it in comparison with this new head, I can see that this one is actually forged crooked. Can you see that? Compared to this. And the finish work is pretty bad on this one. This is, again, the smaller size. Now, does that really matter? I don't know, unless it was a bad heat treatment or something. But it's thicker, it's crooked, the grind isn't quite as good. I mean, this is the big one down here. And if you look at that grind, it's quite nice. Compare that to this one. You know, the top one now is the shorter one. It's a little tough to see, but it's really thick and it's not straight. Not only is it a little crooked this way, it's kind of tilted a little this way, it's also crooked this way. And the head is crooked. You can see it's asymmetrical there. Now, normally, I don't think a whole lot about that, except I had one to compare it to now. And if you look, this thing, for being fairly crude, is actually quite symmetrical. Everything's straight on it as far as I can tell. You know, it does have some rough areas, but, you know, you're going to pay a lot more for that kind of finish work, and then you're going to beat it up anyway. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I don't know what's going on with this particular guy, but I'm not let down. It's still a $15 tool for me. But that explained a little bit, and I just hope Mayhew has good quality control. Don't want to see the tip break because maybe they skimped out on heat treating or something else. But anyway, I also wanted to show you the weights of these things. So let's start out. I've got a traditional snap-on slotted screwdriver here. It comes in at about 5.5 ounces. If I put this Mayhew on, comes in at about almost 11 ounces, so a little shy of twice, or a little more of twice actually, in weight. You can see that. Very similar here, but when you make the jump up to this one, this is 14 ounces, and remember this guy here was about 11 ounces. So even though you're getting a lot more of a tool, you know, in terms of reach, you're only paying the price for this amount of metal up here, which isn't a whole lot, few ounces. How does that compare to, say, Milwaukee's kind of demolition slotted screwdriver? This guy here is about 9. So it's somewhere in between these two, in between the Snap-on and the Mayhew. And then these are their kind of demolition or striking screwdrivers. These are actually pretty decent, but they're really heavy for what they are. So here we've got a Snap-on, and here we've got a Milwaukee. Again, the Snap-on, we're going about 5.5 ounces. This Milwaukee here, 8.3, so almost 3 ounces more. And that's all, as far as I can tell, in this part of the handle, which makes it feel a little funny to use. It really does tip over from the back by quite a ways, versus the Snap-on, which tends to balance really well. Slight tip forward at the index position, which is what you want when you're handling the tool. You don't want it to be trying to escape. And then this guy here, this one still a little bit far back, but that's what you get here. Compare that to the Mayhew. If I balance that, the Mayhew, notice it's tipping forward at the index or thumb position. See that? It drops forward. I like that. Obviously anything with more weight up front is going to really drop forward, but this isn't a precise instrument here. But again, you go out to the Milwaukee and it flies backwards. Even when I move my tip, you watch this. I'll try to find that balance point. It's about right there. That's quite a ways back. In fact, it's still falling backwards. Right there somewhere. So when you're using this, it wants to leap out of the back of your hand. So, you know, for pry bars, it's not a huge deal. Oh, you want to know what this comparison is here? So here is the Snap-on. If you look at the head lengths, they're pretty close. This is the 18-inch Snap-on. This would be the 17-inch Mayhew. So again, the large Mayhew's about 14 ounces. The Snap-on here with the striking cap, old handle, is about 22 ounces. So it is considerably heavier. It obviously has a much beefier shaft, as you can see, even though it's not a lot when you get up to this size of metal, though. I mean, especially in terms of volume, that's a lot of metal. Now the other thing is, if you look at the tips of these compared to a traditional pry bar, this went after the screwdriver tip. You can, the Snap-on I had this tip, except it was pretty much straight. And Snap-on for a while, I don't know if they still are making it, actually made a giant screwdriver tip. And the reason I heard they did that is because people were using them as giant screwdrivers, so they might as well, you know, kill two birds with one stone and make both a pry bar and a screwdriver. But basically they turned a pry bar into a screwdriver. So anyway, I was happy with this. What I'm going to actually do, though, is keep this and this in my Amazon shopping cart, just in case there's another great price drop. And then I'll let you know if it seems to hold. There is one I did notice, PB Swiss's mini or stubby screwdriver with bit storage has dropped down to $29. Maybe it's always been that. I paid more for that when I got mine, but that's something to... if you're interested in one of those, $30, comes with 6 bits, and it's a tiny little great quality PB Swiss. Maybe I'll show it to you if I can find it here. Yeah, there it is. This guy here, I noticed was only 29 bucks now. And this is a great stubby screwdriver if you want to invest a bunch of money in a stubby screwdriver. Anyway, thought I'd bring these to your attention, and I might contact Mayhew and see what they say just about the asymmetrical tip, just out of curiosity. But that is way, you know, put it over that light there. That is way off. And when you compare it, you know, you can really see it is crooked. Anyway, enough for today. With that, Doc out.